Hello guys, and welcome to our new Blu-ray collection video. There's definitely been some new additions since then, especially with the animation and whatnot, but before I get into these, I want to showcase the movies that I didn't exactly show last time. And I'm talking about the other side. Yeah, I have movies on the other side here that aren't animation. These are actual movies, ranging from horror to drama to thriller and what have you, so yeah, let's go through them. Okay, first up is the Rocky Collection. This has pretty much the first 6 movies. All the Rocky movies, basically, if you don't count Creed. Yeah, I love these movies, especially the first 2. They're some of my favorites ever made. Then we have the Harry Potter Collection, of course. Gotta have this. First of the Criterions, we have 12 Angry Men. This was a great drama that I was putting off for such a long time because I was like, oh, it's gonna be boring. It's just a bunch of guys talking around a table. It's an old 50s movie. Nope, it's actually really compelling. It's engaging. Really great stuff. Next we have is Houseu. This is the first horror film I have, if you can even call it that. This is one of the strangest movies I have ever seen in my life. All you need to do is look up the Criterion trailer for this movie, and there you go. That gives you a perfect idea of the tone that this movie's going for. But if you want to talk about weird, we got Eraserhead. This is the king of weird movies because of Mr. David Lynch over here. Yeah, this was a tough watch to get through at first because I had no idea what the hell I was watching, which is pretty much everyone's initial reaction. But upon rewatching it again, I was able to get more from it for the most part. Still very confusing, but I love it for it because of how just strange and abstract it is. Next we have is Amoros Perros, which is, well, translates to Love is a Bitch. This is the only film I have by Inarritu right now. He's a director that's also done The Revenant and a few others as well, like Birdman. But this movie I really like a lot because it incorporates 3 stories from 3 different sets of characters that all intertwine with dogs. Like, dogs is like the main theme. It's a very tough watch to get through, very depressing, but it's really great stuff. Going back to David Lynch again, we have Mulholland Drive. This movie is confusing as hell, but it is so engaging at the same time. The ending still trips me up. Like, I'm just like, what the hell did I just watch? And yeah. Next is Punch Drunk Love. This is the only Paul Thomas Anderson film I have. As you can see, these are all Criterions. Yeah, no, this was actually really great. I really enjoyed this a lot. Usually with Adam Sandler, you think of his bad comedies, but this and Uncut Gems, he actually can be a really good actor, and this movie is very entertaining. It's like a drama romance, basically, but it has bits of comedy in it, too. Next is Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. You gotta have this. Next is Friday the 13th. This is the first movie. I had the collection where I had all 10 movies in a Blu-ray pack. I sold it a bunch of years ago, though. I kind of regret it because I wish I held on to it, but I did buy this because this was the one that I appreciate the most because this is the movie that got me into horror films, besides Child's Play. It's a classic. It stays in my heart. Next is Little Shop of Horrors. This movie is amazing. I love the songs. The special effects is amazing in this. Acting is great. Really, really fantastic movie. I really recommend it. Next is Gone with the Wind. This is probably the oldest film I have that's, live action, besides Snow White. Yeah, again, the same thing with this with 12 Angry Men. A period piece from 1939. Oh my god, this is gonna be the most boring thing ever. And it's 3 hours long? Jeez. No, it's actually an engaging watch. I actually cared about what was going on. And the cinematography is amazing. I love the shots that they do in this movie. Like, seriously, when I think of 1939, I think of primitive, like, cinema and whatnot, but I don't know. There's something about this that I just really liked a lot. Of course, it hasn't aged the best with the whole, slavery theme and all that, but I don't know. I just took it for what it was. It's a film of its time, and for what it is, it's great. First werewolf movie, I call them werewolves, is The Howling. This is the new 4K transfer that was put out. This is the UK copy, though. I know they released it on 4K in the United States, but whatever. I got this one first, so. Yeah, pretty great movie. It's not my favorite werewolf movie, though. It's better than all the others, that's for sure, because the sequels, oh my god, they got worse and worse as the series went on. This is one of the first movies I have here that's a little bit controversial only because of what it is. This is like what you call a guilty pleasure. Yeah, this movie is not good. I understand it's not good. It's very, very cheesy. Very cheesy, actually. And it's pretty stupid. I acknowledge it. I get it. But here's the thing. I don't care. I've always liked it as a kid, and I don't know. I just always had a soft spot for it. This is the new copy that was put out by Shout Factory. I did an unboxing video of this. It includes the Blu-ray and the unrated cut, which was only on DVD at the time, so props to them for finally getting it out. Next is Upstream Color. This is a very, very tough watch to watch because you have to really pay attention. It is so much going on without much explanation at all. It's just things happening to these two people. But if you really pay attention and you really think hard, there's a lot of things that is like amazing to think about. It's really complex. Really complex. Let's just say it involves pigs, and I'll leave it at that. We have Gravity. Yeah, I've always enjoyed this movie. I always liked how dramatic it is and how there's not much characters, really. It's just two characters the whole movie. Well, spoiler alert, one dies. It's like 20 minutes in. But yeah, really enjoyed it. One of the most disturbing horror movies I've ever seen. We have It Follows. What really elevates this movie to like disturbing level for me is the soundtrack by Disaster Piece. Yeah, this the soundtrack is so unnerving. It sounds like 8-bit music at times, and then other times it's just noise, and it's amazing. The concept is extremely weird, but very, very unique at the same time. Next is Oculus. This movie is one that I like a lot because of its psychological horror elements, but also because of its story. It's a very disturbing story with this family, especially with the two brother and sister. Lots of disturbing stuff that goes down in this movie for sure, but I really liked it a lot. And the ending is extremely bleak, but that's how a good horror story should end. Next is Krisha. This is my first film by Trey Edward Schultz. This is a very interesting film because it uses most of his family. The main character, Krisha, is actually his aunt, and they're really good actors, surprisingly. Yeah, it was like very natural. The story is very dramatic and very intense, especially towards the end. But I love the build up to it. Next is The Killing of a Sacred Deer. This is my first film by whatchamacallit, Mr. Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah, this is the first film I bought on Blu-ray, but then I went back and I bought a second one. You'll see in a second. This movie is super messed up. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Very messed up stuff. You want to see something that's even more messed up? Boom, Mother. This is by Darren Aronofsky. Oh my god, this movie. Lots of people hate this movie because of how cruel it is, how intense it becomes, and I don't blame you, but I love it because of how genius it is. It's very, very clever. Next, we got Hereditary. This is the first horror film by Ari Aster, and yeah, great stuff. I really liked it a lot. I don't know what to expect going into it, especially since my father said he didn't really like it too much, but I ended up enjoying it a lot. It's really creepy and great performances. First Man by Damien Chazelle. Okay. I love Whiplash, and I have Whiplash, but it's on my dad's side. But this one right here is one of the most emotional movies I have ever seen. It literally tears me apart. It really does. Down to the score, down to the acting, down to the story itself. It's not about getting to the moon. It's just a man trying to get over the death of his daughter. And was based in real life. Yeah, it kills me. Next is A Star is Born. This was a great dramatic piece. It's a little bit predictable in where it goes, but I really liked how it was filmed, how it was shot, how it was acted, and Bradley Cooper did a great job in it. Next is Searching. This is one of those movies that they experimented by, literally the entire movie is like through the screen of a computer. Kind of like Unfriended, but like better. Yeah, this movie is great. It does everything right, and it's very smart in the way it goes about it with, telling the story. The second horror film by Ari Aster is Midsommar. Yeah, this is very disturbing stuff for sure. Again, it's pretty predictable where it goes, because, cult. A cult is bad, of course. But the way it does things is very interesting in this movie. Very, very interesting. Next film by Trey Edward Schultz. This is his most recent film, actually. Waves. It's a shame that this didn't get anything nominated at the Oscars for when this eventually came out, because yeah, it deserves a lot. The first half is intense, the second half is sad as shit. But if you want a sad as shit film all throughout, you have The Father. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins definitely deserves his Best Actor award because yeah, This movie is devastating. Best Picture winner recently, and one of my favorite movies ever made now is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah, what hasn't been said about this movie that hasn't been said by now? Brilliant stuff. It's funny. It's dramatic. It makes you cry towards the end. There's so much things to take away from it. It's seriously a work of art. So, I I don't know how to explain this one. It's disturbing. I'll say that. Pearl. Yeah, this is in prequel to the horror movie X, which I wasn't really a fan of. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not a fan of X. I gave it a try and I watched it throughout. You know, I got to the ending and I'm like, I don't know, it just didn't really do much for me. But Pearl, I thought was great. It took the character that we saw from X, but prequel obviously, and it's just a very disturbing character study. Like very sad too. Like by the end, is like you just feel like bad. Like what happened to you? Most recent movie I bought is The Whale. I gotta remove that sticker, but yeah. First time watching this, I thought was great. I had my problems with it, but I kind of just, accepted it and moved on. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I rewatched it again, and yeah, no. This movie is actually great. Score is amazing. I love that the whole film feels like a play, because it is based on the play. It just takes place in one location. Acting by Brendan Fraser. Yep, he deserves it, alright. Alright, now we're going to the movies without slipcovers, so I go from oldest to newest. First up is A Bay of Blood by Mario Bava. Mario Bava pretty much started the slasher films. This is one of the earliest ones from 1971. I know this by Twitch to Death Nerve. As you can see, it has multiple titles. Focus, there you go. Hey, Twitch to Death Nerve. It's known by other titles too. But yeah, when I went through my horror phase, I discovered this film on YouTube, like the trailer, and I was obsessed with it because this was pretty much the first slasher film. If you don't count Psycho, of course. But this was the first one to really show gore and stuff like that. Last House on the Left. This is by Wes Craven, and it is a very disturbing movie for many reasons. I find it a guilty pleasure as well because it's not really something that you can enjoy per se because of how disturbing it is. But I don't know. I like a lot of aspects about it. Probably the funniest movie I've ever seen is Airplane. Yeah, this shit literally makes me die laughing in tears every time. I love it. Definitely had to have it. This one I'm gonna have to censor for YouTube. This is Possession. One of the craziest movies I've ever seen. The shots are amazing. The acting is like otherworldly. But what the hell is going on in the story? Like, nothing makes sense, but that's what I love about it, because it is insane. By the end, this movie just gives up. It does not give a shit anymore, and it's just, it goes completely bonkers. Like, I have no idea how to explain it. It's, like, amazing. Just watch the trailer, and you'll see what I'm talking about. 2 film pack. We got Gremlins and Gremlins 2. Love these films when I was a kid growing up. Well, when I got into my horror phase, but that was like, what, 13, 14 years ago? But yeah, no, definitely gotta have these. They're classics. Another Darren Aronofsky film. We got Requiem for a Dream. This is probably regarded as his best film, but it's a tough watch for sure. Very depressing work, as all his films are. But yeah, it's great. Got another werewolf movie. This one I feel is underappreciated. This is Ginger Snaps. Came out in 2000, filmed in Canada. They made a couple sequels, and I like Ginger Snaps 2 enough. You know, it was good. It was good. I never cared for the third one, but this first one is a classic. They took the aspect of going through puberty as a metaphor for her going through a slow transformation into, the wolf. It's really cool, and the music is great too. Has a really memorable score. Oh boy, where do I go talking about this guy? This is Gaspar Noé. I only own 3 of his films. This is one that I got because I appreciated what it tried to do. It is a very tough watch again. As you can see, there's a lot of warnings on the front here. Yeah, and let's just say it has a 10-minute scene in this hallway with this woman that shouldn't be talked about, but the concept of this film is that everything is backwards. It starts at the end and ends in the beginning, and it's up to you to put together the pieces. They recently re-released this film in a chronological order or something like that, but I prefer it like this because it's just that much more of a mindfuck. No Country for Old Men. This is the only film I have by the Coen brothers. Probably my favorite from them, to be honest. And yeah, it's great. Everything from the intensity to the concept to the acting to, you know, Javier Bardem's character chasing down Josh Brolin's character. It's very intense. Some people may not like it because of the ending, but I thought it was brilliant. This is another guilty pleasure of mine, Blood and Chocolate. I haven't watched this movie in since when I was 9, 10, 11. I can't even remember, but it's not good. It's very cheesy. I just got it because they turn into wolves, and that's cool, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I had this thing for forever. I definitely need to rewatch it though, because I probably won't even feel the same way about it as I did back then. Enter the Void. This is my favorite film by Gaspar Noé. What can be said about this movie, man? Main character dies 20 minutes in, but he dies high, so his spirit floats out of his body, and the entire film we see everything from his spirit's point of view, and it's just a non-stop drug trip. And the ending, man, it's one of my favorite endings ever, man. It's just insane. And we have Dancer in the Dark by Lawrence von Trier. This is my favorite film by him. Very disturbing, as all of his movies are, but it's great. Like, it's really, really unique as well. Very sad as well. The ending is gonna piss off a lot of people. It's a very frustrating film, but that's most of his movies. This is the DVD, unfortunately. I know where the Blu-ray exists, but it's only in like China or something, and I don't know. I'll probably get it later, but I just wish that they put it out properly on Blu-ray, because it really does deserve it. Alright, so that's all the movies in the front shelf there, and then we move on to this little small section that I have down here. First is Drive, really great film. I hate the way it was marketed, though, because they made it seem like it was going to be another Fast and the Furious movie. It is not. It is a slow drama, art house film, character study, really awesome stuff. The Hunt. This movie is frustrating. You feel extremely bad for the main character, played by Mads Mikkelsen. He did nothing wrong, and everything is just shoved down his throat. It's a very, very hard to watch drama, but it's great at the same time. This is the first horror film I have here by, what's his name? I forgot. Robert Eggers, right? The Witch. He is someone that, as far as we've seen so far, he loves taking old dialect from like the 1800s, 1700s or whatever, and just making that the main focus of his film, like the setting and whatnot. So you need subtitles when you watch his movies, because you have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They're speaking proper Old English. The movies fell over. The Lobster. This is again from Yorgos Lanthimos. Keep reading his name. Very weird concept. Like, very weird. But I thought it was great. The Neon Demon. Recently saw this, and I picked this up on eBay because of how rare this Blu-ray is. Very strange movie. It's by the same director by Drive. I have no idea how to describe this movie. It's very weird throughout. Like, you feel like you're in a dream, but then the last act happens, and again, it's just like possession. It just goes bonkers. It goes absolutely crazy. It goes in a direction that I was not expecting at all. It Comes at Night is an interesting one. This is also by Trey Edward Schultz. This is his most controversial film, mainly because, again, it was just like Drive, how it was marketed. People thought this was going to be a extreme horror fest with zombies and lots of action and whatnot. It's not. It's very slow, very dark and dreary, and open to interpretation, because nothing's explained and it ends in a very ambiguous way. That's what I love about it as well. Everything is ambiguous. There's no right answers. You don't know what is the fate of some characters and what really went down, if it was a dream, if it was real. It's really interesting, but you can't look at the trailers and expect it for exactly what it is, because it's not. This movie is pretty much the prime example of an anti-drug ad. Don't do drugs, kids. Or, well, they did kind of do drugs without them not knowing, because someone slipped it into their drinks. But yeah, just pretty much revealed the plot here. Someone slips LSD into a party of dancers, and they had no idea. So the rest of the movie, it's just 50 minutes of everyone freaking out, and it becomes a horror show. Very disturbing watch. The Lighthouse. Very dramatic, very confusing, very artful as well. The way it's presented, the way it showcases things and makes you question reality throughout the entire film. Really cool piece. Parasite, Best Picture winner from 2019. Great film, of course. Definitely recommend it. The Climb. This is a very frustrating comedy, but I love it because how it's filmed. There's 6 sequences in this film, all of which are done in one shot each, and it's very impressive to watch. Not only is it funny, but it's very impressive on how it's shot. And the last film we have here for the live action section is Mass. This movie takes place in one room. The entire movie is just 4 people talking, 2 parents each. Well, 4 parents. They're just coming together after a couple years or so to talk about the tragedy of what affected their children, and it is so gripping. Like, even though the entire movie is just them talking in one room, it does not matter because it is so well acted that you literally forget you're watching a movie. And I love the ending as well. It gets to me. Okay, moving over to the animation section. I added some little figurines up here just to decorate the shelf a bit, but for the main focus over here, we got some new additions. For starters, I recently picked up the 4K transfer of The Prince of Egypt to replace my Blu-ray copy. I love the gold and bros they put on the cover here, really great. I also picked up Puss in Boots in 4K just because I wanted to celebrate the release of the second film. I rewatched it again after so many years, and I thought it was pretty good, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, The Last Wish just destroys it. I eventually got it, of course, had to get it. Very pain in the ass to get. See my unboxing video for more information, but yeah, one of DreamWorks' best right here. There were some movies I had upstairs in my attic that I forgot to add to my collection, so I'll just give them some quick shoutouts. We have Turbo. I haven't seen this movie in years, but I enjoyed it back then when I saw it, even though now I can acknowledge its flaws, and trust me, it is flawed. Captain Underpants. I loved the books growing up as a kid, so I had to see the movie. You know, even though I'm kind of grew out of it, I still wanted to see it just to see how they handled doing the books, and they did a really good job, honestly. It's a really entertaining film. It's not bad at all. Hotel Transylvania was another one of those films I had up in the attic. This is the original 3D Blu-ray, which has the nice little lenticular cover here, which is really neat. Really funny film. I like it a lot, but I like the second one better. Gotta get Hotel Transylvania 2, of course. I never saw 3. I saw 4. 4 was good. It's just that they kind of rehashed the story and conflict a lot, and by that point, yeah, it definitely ran out of steam. If I watch 3 and I like it enough, I think I'll replace it and get the 3-pack. We'll see. This movie is like memed to death now. Like, it's a really stupid concept, but I enjoyed it when I first watched it back then. I haven't seen it since, so maybe my opinions will change. Who knows? Storks. Funny movie. Not really one of my favorites, but I picked it up cheap. It was enjoyable. I initially dismissed this movie because I thought it was just going to be a dumb kids movie, you know? And for the most part, it is. But you know what? It's cute. I enjoyed it. I figured, you know what? Why not? Plus, Lulu is like my favorite character ever, and I needed to get the 4K just because of her. Balto was surprising. It's a movie I actually enjoyed back then, and I just completely forgot about it for some reason. So when I was going through my Blu-rays the other day, I was like, wait, what? I don't own this. So I bought it on Amazon. Boom. This has got to be one of the strangest animated movies I've ever seen. It's barely an hour long. The story feels like it's written by a 10-year-old kid hopped up on sugar. Nothing makes sense. It keeps getting weirder as it goes along, but god damn is it entertaining. I thought I owned The Secret of Nim on Blu-ray, but apparently I didn't. Yeah. Super Mandela effect, but I own it. Great film. We're about to get to South Park in a second, but yeah. I never saw Team America World Police by, same creators as South Park. Super freaking funny movie. Really glad I saw it, because it was a great time. Not sure why I own this. I've never even watched it. Why do I own this? What? Just like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On has quickly became one of my favorite movies ever made. Beautiful film. Like, seriously, I love it so much. Watch the trailer and take it for what it is and give it a watch. You're not going to regret it. And finally, the South Park movie. I saved this for last because, yeah. I've been a South Park fan since 2009, and I just completely forgot about the show once the 20th season aired and whatnot. I just fell off of it for a bit. But recently I came back to it, and now I'm back up to Steam. And I love it, of course. It's literally my favorite thing ever. So I had to pick up the movie, because this is also one of my favorite movies ever, and I can't believe I forgot about it. And as you can see, I recently bought seasons 1 through 21 on Blu-ray. This was a big purchase to do. I bought seasons 1 to 12 on eBay for $100. Really great deal. The guy was just giving it away, basically. Then seasons 13 to 21, I bought on Amazon. Pretty cheap as well. I haven't bought seasons 22, 23, 24, or 25, which is coming out soon. But I'll get to those eventually. Well, I got some movies to put back in the way, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the new updates. There's a couple that I missed, like why do I own you? What? But besides that, yeah, there's some cool new additions, and let's see what other ones I end up getting myself as well later on. We'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed, of course, and yeah, I'll see you next time.